And on to debate number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, who exactly is responsible for the depravity that the junior woman doctor was subjected to in the wee hours of the 9th of August at the 4th floor of Kolkata's RG Medical College? Is Sanjay Roy the only accused in this case? Why is CBI questioning Dr. Sandip Ghosh, the ex-principal of the RG Medical College, so many times? What's the truth about this case that has united the entire nation in anger, in protest, and even in solidarity? Today, we've accessed a letter that West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee wrote to Sandip Ghosh in 2022 on his birthday. While the TMC is trying to downplay this particular letter, the question that arises from this, and many are even asking, is that why is Dr. Sandip Ghosh so important to the TMC? First, let's take you across to this particular letter as well. So this is the letter. Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister, West Bengal. That's the letterhead that you see. It's dated the 30th of June, 2022. Dear Professor Ghosh, please accept my heartiest greetings and best wishes on your birthday. May you fulfill all your dreams and may your life be blessed with more happiness, success and good health in the days ahead. I also wish your family members the very best. Signed, Mamata Banerjee, Professor Sandip Ghosh, and his address mentioned over there. The question, though, that many are asking is that the main accused in this case is Sanjay Roy, whose perversion has repulsed the entire country. This brute will be lodged in Kolkata's Presidency Jail under intense scrutiny. Times has also accessed a CCTV still of this criminal from the RG Medical College. As per sources, he's seen loitering outside the scene where the incident took place inside the hospital. And in fact, sources saying that Sanjay Roy had injury marks on his body during his arrest, which points to some kind of a scuffle that could have potentially taken place. Injuries were seen on left cheek, abrasions even seen on his left hand. His clothes and bike have been recovered, and cops have also recovered the CCTV footage of the route that he used. However, there's no end to politics over this issue. Since yesterday, leaders of BJP have been highlighting that India's most illustrious lawyers have been fielded in courts to represent the accused. The TMC has countered the BJP's narrative by saying that senior lawyers are not fighting for the accused, they are representing the state, and that they are doing so to put facts before the top court so that the state's view is represented.
बहुत सारे प्रश्न अब सामने आ रहे हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जो प्रोसीडिंग्स सार्वजनिक हुई हैं, उसके चलते कई लोग इस बात से भी आहत हैं कि माता पिता को एफआईआर करना पड़ा। बार बार माता पिता भी गुहार लगा रहे थे। ये भी पब्लिक डोमेन में आया है कि इस व्यक्ति के खिलाफ विजिलेंस के पास भी काफी लेटर्स और कम्युनिकेशन गए हैं, क्योंकि वर्तमान में इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रहे हैं सीबीआई के माध्यम से भी। और अब प्रश्न उठता है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी क्या निर्णय होगा। बंगाल में राशन स्कैम हो चुका है, एजुकेशन स्कैम हो चुका है। ऐसा लगता है कि अब बहुत ही जल्द हेल्थ स्कैम के भी कई परतें खुलने वाली हैं।
ममता बनर्जी का रिजाइन, क्योंकि वो रिजाइन नहीं करेंगे तो जस्टिस नहीं होगा, और जितने गुनाहगार को बचाने के प्रयास कर रही हैं। आज स्लोगन आ रहा है कि लक्ष्मी भांडार नहीं चाहिए, हमारी बेटी को वापस दीजिए।
I welcome this decision of Calcutta High Court. We have seen for last 2 years that Calcutta High Court is trying to do something which brightens the face of judiciary. And so, in tune with that, Calcutta High Court has done that, and I am very hopeful that now the papers which had to be destroyed by creating this society by Mamata Banerjee suddenly will be kept and will come to light.
But as the war of words between the BJP and the TMC over the legal fight escalates, Congress's senior-most leader in West Bengal, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, has jumped in with an advice and an appeal, a request for Kapil Sibal. He says Kapil Sibal, who's representing the West Bengal government, must keep the sentiments of the people of Bengal in mind and must recuse himself from this case. Now, this has ignited infighting within the Congress, with some leaders echoing the TMC's tune. Listen in.
कपिल सिब्बल एक मशहूर आइनजीवी है, लीगल लुमिनरी है, और हिंदुस्तान की आइनजीवों की जगत में एक बड़ा सितारे भी है। मैं उनसे यह गुजारिश करूंगा कि आप इस केस से खुद को वापस कर लो, विड्रॉ कर लो, रिक्यूज कर लो। ये बंगाल के आम लोगों की सेंटीमेंट और बंगाल के आम लोगों को गुस्सा आक्रोश को देखते हुए अपराधियों की तरफदारी ना करे तो बेहतर है।
Sibbal is not representing the rapists, for God's sake. He's representing a government. So there is a difference.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guests now. Joining us, we have Dr. Ajay Alok, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Deshratna Nigam, lawyer, is with us. We have Shashank Shekhar Jha, lawyer of the Supreme Court. Also with us is Tausif Ahmed Khan, lawyer and political analyst. Tehseen Punawala, political analyst, is with us. And Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, is also joining us on the broadcast. Let me start with Tausif first and foremost. Tausif, this letter written by Mamata Banerjee to the principal or the former principal of the RG Kar Hospital raises questions. Now, this is not an isolated thing, of an isolated piece of information, I beg your pardon, because you have a situation where there have been allegations of corruption made by, Mr. Ali, who was also working in the same hospital. He is removed, but Mr. Ghosh continues. There are 8 days of questioning whether CBI has questioned this individual. There are questions of whether the state government has treated him with kid gloves because despite the ghastly incidents of RG Kar, he's transferred to another national medical college. Question is there a reason that the state government is protecting him? Is there a protection happening as far as Mr. Ghosh is concerned?
Madhav, you see, from last 8-9 days, CBI is investigating the matter. And since the incident has occurred, there is a doubt raised by the protesters and by the social media propagandas, and mainly by BJP and opposition in Bengal, that there is something that state government is protecting Sanjay Ghosh. So from last 10 days, what material has CBI unearthed? What material does the material is not sufficient enough for CBI to arrest Sanjay Ghosh? Please arrest Sanjay Ghosh if there are material against them. Now, you see, your piece of letter you show holds no weight in evidence because this is a standard letter, a digitally printed letter sent out from the CM office, maybe even without her knowledge, to the meaningful person in various departments holding any meaningful post.
How can you say it's without her knowledge, sir? There is a digital signature, is there not?
Maybe. No. Obviously, she is aware that birthday greetings are the standard procedure and it is sent to various people holding important posts in the government. But whether she will be aware of each and every letter and whether she is personally signing that I am saying it may not be possible. Regardless, the letter is sent and it's a standard letter sent to so many people, and Mr. Ghosh is one of them.
Does the Chief Minister send this letter to all the principals of all the medical colleges in West Bengal, just out of curiosity? Are you aware?
As I said, I am aware various portfolio holders in various departments, including other departments, not only health department. And yes, maybe other principals also in the health department. And I'm sure that there are other people in the health department.
Dr. Ajay Alok, you're making a very big deal out of this. It's a routine letter. Perhaps Mamata Banerjee knew, perhaps she didn't, but perhaps other medical college principals also she writes a letter to. Don't draw so many conclusions out of one routine letter.
Look, we are not concerned that Mamata Banerjee sends letter to whom and what is the content of the letter. The biggest question here is that in Bengal, what we are watching is absolutely state-sponsored crime and state protection given to criminals. And this has not happened for the first time. Sandesh Khali we have all seen, then the recent rape again. And of course, what happened in RG Kar Medical College was the most gruesome incident happening to a doctor. And in spite of that, the medical superintendent, after tremendous pressure, is being removed from the hospital, and within 4 hours he is reinstated as principal of National Medical College, Calcutta. What does all these things shows? The state government has not taken any punitive action. Mamata Banerjee herself being a health minister, she keeps on doling out favors one against the other. Then what does all these things? We are debating here that why Mamata has done that. It's very much ample clear that Mamata wants to protect this. In the same RG Kar Medical College, this incident happened in 2004 also when a doctor committed suicide. Then also hue and cry was made by Mamata because she was not in the government. Then in 2012, when she was in government, then again this thing happened, but she kept quiet. Bengal government is in a habit of saving rapists, criminals, and all the radicals. This is a very dangerous and a very grave situation which whole country and whole Bengal is noticing, experiencing, and they're just scratching their head what to do, what not to do. There's absolutely an atmosphere of insecurity and chaos.
I want to just bring in, what the Supreme Court has said. And Tausif, you
because when the administration does not act.
One second. Yeah, just a second, please. I'm just quoting what the Supreme Court has observed. And just hear me out for 2 minutes, Tausif. This is what the court has said in context of Sandip Ghosh as the principal and in terms of him and the hospital administration not being proactive. They've said it's rather disheartening to note that hospital administration, particularly the then principal Professor Sandip Ghosh, who's been impleaded in his personal capacity in writ petition so-and-so, was not proactive qua the post he was holding. They also have gone on to talk about the dereliction of duty. They say the principal of the institution, either by himself or by issuing appropriate directions, could have lodged a complaint with the police since the death occurred within the hospital premises. This, in our view, was a clear dereliction of duty on part of the principal and the officers under command, and this has led to various repercussions, and this has been admitted by the authority that the situation became chaotic and rapid. Now, with this observation of the Supreme Court, I'm not even getting into what the High Court has said. You know that very well, Tausif. Why did the Kolkata police not even interrogate Mr. Ghosh?
Well, SIT was formed. Today only it was handed over to CBI. The charges. You see, if we're talking about the Supreme Court has only observed with regard to dereliction in duty. Whether this really amounts to, interfering with the crime scene or demolishing the evidence, that is yet to be seen. Even CBI has not said a single word.
Of course, they said so in the court yesterday.
In the Supreme Court.
So CBI has told the court has asked the Council for West Bengal Government, Kapil Sibal, exactly this. This happened yesterday in the court. You've not even followed what has happened in Supreme Court, sir. This is exactly what CBI said in the court yesterday.
Madhav, CBI said that as of now, this rape seems to be have committed by the one person.
Sir, contamination of the crime scene and the court. Once again, Tausif, since you've clearly not followed what happened in the court yesterday, let me inform you and our viewers. The CBI specifically mentions that there was contamination of the crime scene. The timeline that was given, then the court refers to it, the bench refers to it. And they've specifically asked a question that why was the crime scene not secured until after the post-mortem that took place much later? This is just one of the many lacunae in the initial investigation that has been pointed out in the Supreme Court yesterday, Tausif.
CBI specifically said that Kolkata police recorded the crime scene under video recording. Kolkata police conducted the post-mortem under video recording. All of these materials are before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has very rightfully questioned why the complaint with the police was not lodged by the hospital authorities, and Supreme Court has raised certain queries regarding the conduct of Kolkata police, and therefore has asked the Kolkata police officers to appear before the court.
Yes.
And Kolkata police will give their answers.
And all of this raises questions.
Like the answer were given
and
to
all
the
of this raises questions, sir, of the Kolkata police and on Mr. Ghosh as well, and on the state administration as well. Let me bring in Deshratan Nigam. Deshratan Nigam, would you like to refresh Tausif's memory as to the queries that have been made by the court, particularly in context of the same individual, Mr. Sandip Ghosh?
Yes, absolutely. Especially, the head of the hospital whose duty is to immediately report the crime, which was not done so, and huge amount of delay in reporting the crime and intimation to the police is a very questionable conduct and act which the Supreme Court appropriately raised. And the CBI also said there is altering of the crime scene, which means a lot of evidence seems to have been destroyed. Any layman can tell you if we alter the scene, then the destruction of evidence does take place. And so many questions which are there, which are perplexing the court, and therefore the court was very agonized in raising certain questions, and especially called the policeman who was to appear before them. And the observations of the court should not be taken lightly. I think they clearly said it should not be politicized, and it appears the politicians in the garb of lawyers, and I'm saying to the highest level that we have seen person appearing. Yes, Mr. Sibal has the entitlement to defend the state government, There is no doubt, as his professional duty. But at the same time, he's also defending the state government and Mamata Banerjee, who, with the opinion of the court observation, which is coming out that there is some complicity of the West Bengal police, the state government, and the highest officers, because that's the inference that any layman can draw. So there seems to be a conflict of interest, and especially writing SCBA letter on the letterhead and saying it is SCBA's resolution, which is unethical. He should not have done so, and the Supreme Court committee has appropriately pointed this out, that it was not their resolution. The fact remains that there is a conflict of interest out here.
Okay.
Mr. Sibal has to choose side, whether he's a politician or a lawyer now. If he acts as a lawyer, he must do his professional and ethical duty in the court of law.
Okay.
And avoid making, all those statements that he has done, or passing SCBA resolutions, which should not have been done. I certainly, if I was a lawyer, I, in my opinion, probably would not have taken up this case. But
Sanjay Hegde, would you like to respond to that? Mr. Kapil Sibal, in his professional capacity as chief of the Bar Association, of course, a lot of controversy about the authenticity of the claims that have been made in one such letter or statement, but also Deshratan Nigam saying he's in direct conflict, in terms of the role that he is playing, and he will have to now choose which side or which role he wants to really function in. Do you agree with him, Sanjay Hegde?
I absolutely disagree. I disagree because it is the duty of a lawyer who is given a brief in a court that he practices to do that brief to the best of his ability. It is irrespective of the case. The lawyer does not judge the case. And it was very famously said long ago that the day that a lawyer can refuse a brief in a court that he normally practices, where his fee is paid, that is the day that the liberty of the citizen is at an end. Even the most despicable of clients deserves the full effort of a lawyer briefed. We are a country that gave Ajmal Kasab the rule of law, the entire process. And this going after one of the great lawyers of the country, the leader of the bar, one of the leaders of the bar, I think is absolutely wrong. So, if the Supreme Court Bar Association were to have problems with it, or if there was that's between the Bar Association and Mr. Sibal. But Mr. Sibal is doing the highest defense that can be given in the highest traditions of the bar. Mr. Ram Jethmalani, whom I revere as a lawyer, defended the assassins of Indira Gandhi, defended a lot of despicable people, gave them the full range of his abilities.
But Sanjay Hegde,
it is not the lawyer's job to prejudge any client.
Right.
It's like this. It's like this. A doctor treated Ajmal Kasab when he was shot. He didn't say he is a terrorist. I will not operate. Today, on your show, I'll tell you that people think I'm anti-BJP. Yes, I am. I don't like the party. But if any of their members were to ask me to appear, and Shashank is out here, he knows, I will appear as long as I have the time and I'm in the court. And my
that's all very well. Sanjay Hegde, that's all very well. Here there is a slightly different problem though. The members of the same Bar Association are saying that Mr. Kapil Sibal has actually issued a statement on such a sensitive matter without even consulting them.
That is for him, and that is between him and the Bar Association. It has nothing to do with what has happened in court.
Deshratan Nigam? Yeah, Deshratan Nigam, respond to that.
See, I have not questioned, Madhav, the professionality of Mr. Sibal. He is certainly entitled, which he is doing, to defend his client. But then he is not to go out and give other kinds of statements as a politician. And that is the conflict of interest I am talking about. I have the highest regard for Mr. Sibal. But there is some kind of a conflict of interest which is coming out into the open. Defending the state government, then, choosing the side, then CBI becomes very good for Mr. Sibal in a case, then CBI is very bad in a particular case. A state government like West Bengal Please don't
Of
interfere
course it
in
is.
between. Please don't
Different
interfere in
cases.
between.
One by one.
One by one. We have debated a number of debates, but we have never interfered with each other. And therefore, a state government which has withdrawn the general consent to CBI to investigate cases, now CBI becomes very good as per Mr. Sibal, and that I am sure is on the instructions of the state government, because a lawyer cannot give any statement without the instructions of his client.
Can the yardstick change like this? Sanjay Hegde,
Yes.
at the whims and fancies of an individual. Please respond to Deshwar Nigam, and two other panelists have to go to who have not yet spoken. Quick response, please. Sanjay Hegde.
Look, quick response. You do your best in any case inside the court. Outside the court, you are your own man.
Okay.
Okay. Outside the court, he's a politician. He can be a politician. I see no conflict.
Okay, fair enough. Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, though, Tehseen, we've heard what he has said. Now, he addressed the media, and it's not the BJP, it's not the left, it is not the TMC, but Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who was leader of the Congress party in the Lok Sabha until a few months ago, who says that he is urging Kapil Sibal to withdraw from his role in the legal proceedings related to the Kolkata rape and murder case. Now, one can choose to, of course, say that as a lawyer, it's his right and perhaps his duty, as Sanjay Hegde is arguing. But this is a question coming in from within the Congress itself, from a tall leader of the Congress who perhaps would be embarrassed and says that he's been embarrassed with the kind of adjectives being used for Sibal back home in West Bengal. Tehseen.
And Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary ji has a right to his opinion. That is democracy 101. But I absolutely, unflinchingly, unapologetically stand by Kapil Sibal and Sanjay Hegde. It is Kapil Sibal's duty to do his best in court to defend the government of West Bengal, for whom he holds a brief. He is not defending the rapist, he's defending the government of West Bengal. Arun Jaitley ji, the late Arun Jaitley ji, for whom we all had a lot of high regard, represented Vodafone against government of India in the tax scam. Later on, the Supreme Court struck it down. He became finance minister. May I ask you humbly, is there not conflict of interest? Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, I have a lot of respect for him, defended Subrata Roy, who was convicted, whilst Ravi Shankar Prasad ji was a union minister in the government of India. I am asking you, is this not conflict of interest? Sanjay Hegde has represented me a number of times in a number of cases. There are many issues I don't agree with Sanjay Hegde on. But one thing I know, that if I go to him with a brief, he's got my back. And that's what the law is about. He's right. The law is about putting. Now, one second. I want to make one point.
Quickly, yeah.
We are criticizing Kapil Sibal for standing up for the West Bengal government. But just imagine, if the entire process would not, via the West Bengal government and the union government, Tushar Mehta, come before the Supreme Court, today would we have this task force? Would we have had this task force and this resolution for the doctors that the Supreme Court has stepped in? And I'll ask you one last thing before I end. What the Supreme Court is doing, I disagree with it. It's not the job of the Supreme Court to be doing this. It's the job of the union government to be making task force. But because the union government has failed in doing politics, the Supreme Court has had to step in.
We'll get into the task force bit later. Let me quickly bring in Shashank Shakarjad. Shashank Shakarjad, there's nothing wrong. He has pointed out certain cases of BJP leaders also, where he says they've represented certain parties in the court, and later in their functions in the government, there appears to be conflict of interest. Your response to Tehseen?
Namaste Madhav Ji and every fellow panelist of mine. Madhav Ji, this is a proper troubling paradox. Kapil Sibal has not only represented West Bengal government but has also laughed very shamelessly before the Honorable Supreme Court when Tushar Mehta Ji, the Solicitor General, has pointed it out. The problem is that he is at a proper catch-20 situation where there is a no dead end. There is a lot of paradox. On one hand, Kapil Sibal is defending West Bengal government in this case. On the other hand, he is saying, as a Bar Council President of Supreme Court, that we stand with the girl. On one hand, he says that he has no hope with the Supreme Court of India. On the other hand, he approaches Supreme Court on every other matter, saying that I have entire hope with the Honorable Supreme Court. So the problem here, Madhavji, is not what Kapil Sibal do as a lawyer while representing his client. He does have that right, but whatever he is doing right now is completely hypocritical, not only because of his political stances, but also because of the judgment he do. Sanjay Hegde rightly pointed out that a lawyer should not judge his clients or his opposition, but Kapil Sibal is actually judging his opposition. As a lawyer representing West Bengal, Sibal has defended the administrator shockingly apathetic response to the brutal rape and murder of the young doctor. But on the other hand, he is trying to cover up the atrocity standing by the Kolkata police. But as a president, he is directly saying that, we stand with the girl. What message is he giving? And I will give you one more example. West Bengal government has offered 10 lakh rupees to the girl's family, the victim's family. On the other hand, Kapil Sibal must be taking at least 15 lakhs per date. And there are at least 22 lawyers representing West Bengal government in this case. And whatever was mentioned before your show was completely wrong. Before Supreme Court, I was present yesterday. CBI has categorically stated that the investigation itself was a challenge because the scene of offence was altered. The FIR was registered only after cremation at 11:45. This is I quote. And on that, Supreme Court's Justice Pardiwala has said, and I quote, the entire procedure followed by Kolkata police is not prescribed in CRPC. In my entire 30-year career as a lawyer and a judge, I have never come across such a procedure.
And we have extensively debated those points yesterday, which is why I'm surprised one of our panelists is not aware of that. But I think the larger point being made over here, Tehseen, I think you should respond to that. There are inherent contradictions in the stance being taken by Mr. Sibal vis-a-vis this case inside and outside the court.
Listen, is his stance on the same issue a contradiction? No. I mean, in life, as various lawyers, you will argue different cases differently. Sometimes, and there are lawyers here, learned people here, Deshratan Nigamji, my friend Prashant,
not different cases. If he's talking about the girl outside, it's the same case.
He said that Kapil Sibal did not repose faith in the Supreme Court. Sometimes you will criticize an institution. Sometimes you will support an institution. Madhav, so many times TV channels, for example, are criticized. Yet we come on the same TV channels to put our stand across. What sort of a logic is there that somebody's? I mean, are we now going to let go of freedom of speech? Is this the kind of arguments we're going to make on national TV? What is the point? The point is the Supreme Court decided to take charge of a situation so that there's national implications. There is the CBI, there is the Union government, there is the West Bengal government, there's a procedure by the Kolkata police. All of this has to come to the Supreme Court. If you don't put it out...
Quick closing comment from Dr. Ajay Alok.
Well, I will just say Kapil Sibal is a professional, there is no doubt about it. But the different circumstances he is representing the West Bengal government, that raises pertinent question. That needs to be answered, and the onus lies with Kapil Sibal to give an explanation, not with others, and we shouldn't be debating on that. And yes, any lawyer can represent, and when he is doing his professional services within the premises of court, he is free at his will to do that.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Dr. Ajay Alok, Deshratan Nigam, Shashank Shekhar Jha, Tausif Ahmed Khan, Professor Tehseen Poonawalla, beg your pardon, and Sanjay Hegde. Thanks so much for joining us. Certainly, all eyes on the Kolkata case as well, and of course, what will transpire on the 5th in the Supreme Court as well.